There we go. Hey, we're rolling, we're rocking, we're recording. This is episode 446 of No Laugh Track Podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis. I am Justin Severson, and I am here this week with someone who I think maybe we met briefly years ago when you were back in town doing some comedy, but it's been a long time. I'm sure you don't remember. Greg Warren is here with me, and that's all that matters, back at Acme doing a week of headlining sets. Hello.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Yeah. Super.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So let's start with history in Minnesota.
Okay.
Your history in Minnesota. How far back does that go? Yesterday wasn't your first time here.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I quit my day job in like 2001, and right around that time, I got to be friends with a couple of Minnesota comics or guys that had connections, like Chad Daniels and Issac Whitty.
Oh yeah.
And so I think, I think I came up here. Maybe I was working like knuckleheads in the mall back in the day.
Sure.
And then I think I did an open mic here at Acme probably.
Okay.
At some point, several years later, I started working the club.
Yeah. Nice.
So, it all kind of blurs together. But, I've had some really fun times here.
Sure.
It's a great place.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I give you credit for two excellent name drops.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Chad Daniels. I recommend everyone does that when they're on this podcast, as mentioned, Chad.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Issac, too.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
What a great guy who's moved out of Minnesota. He's not here anymore.
He is in Atlanta right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's got relatives down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you're still in touch?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Talked to him yesterday, actually, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to him, I don't know, a handful of times during the year, but when I was, got off the plane here, I was just like, I got to call Issac. I'm like, he's not here anymore. But,
son of a gun.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah. Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we got one show into the week. When we're
Uh-huh.
recording this. How was the first night back?
That was fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It's good to be back.
Where are you in? How busy have you been recently?
Pretty busy. Yeah. I mean, real busy for the last several months. I think.
Good.
There was like that. It all sort of blurs together, but that first part of 2021, I think we'd kind of shut down again.
Yep. In fact, I saw a memory that it was right around like this week or next week or whatever when Acme was was opening back up after a second closing.
Yeah.
So.
And then I think ever since like March of 21, I've been going pretty strong.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's I've kind of getting close to like having a new hour of material. That's always like the funnest time, and so I'm hopefully finish that up sometime in the middle of this year. So.
Okay, I want to ask you about that, but before I forget, I'm looking at your sweatshirt there, St. Louis Blues.
Yeah,
I know that you're from St. Louis, or at least the area, correct?
Yeah.
Did you watch when our Minnesota Wild played the St. Louis Blues in the Winter Classic January 1st?
No. I'm like a.
You just like the sweatshirts?
Yeah, I'm like kind of a sweatshirt fan. Yeah, it's like the clothing drives my fandom with hockey.
Sure.
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that, actually. Like I've never been a giant hockey fan. I'm a giant St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan.
Okay.
Where literally every pitch, every I look at the stats on every game.
Okay.
Hockey, I'm proud of the Blues. I like them. I watched a lot during the playoffs, or a little during the playoffs, I should say, and I know some of the guys.
Okay.
That are connected to the team, but mostly it's probably driven by the wardrobe. Yeah.
I'll admit, I think probably like middle school or junior high, that age. I think I became a New York Knicks fan briefly because I like their color scheme.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So it happens.
That's interesting. Like I this isn't my first Blues sweatshirt, but I do remember a sweatshirt. I moved back to St. Louis like I don't know, about 5-6 years ago, and I was in the airport. It's one of those times when you're one of the season changes, and I got back from like Florida, and it was like 10 degrees.
You
in
weren't
St.
prepared.
Louis. I'm like, I gotta buy a sweatshirt. I got this blue sweatshirt, and I was like, this is a good sweatshirt, and then you get all those embarrassing questions about like the technical stuff of hockey, like you just asked me about, and I'm like,
did that happen?
and I for a while I've tried to fake it, and then
Good for you. Don't.
Yeah. Now
Own
I'm just
it.
like, hey man, it's pretty much the sweatshirt at this point. Yeah, it's yeah.
Well, so I brought up the Winter Classic, and when that game was played, it was
We won. I know that, right? Yeah.
We meaning the Blues. Yes,
the Blues
that's
won.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
did.
it was we won big, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a blowout, and
Yeah.
it was also about 10 degrees below zero.
Okay.
Would
Yeah.
you ever consider going to watch any sporting event at 10 degrees below zero? If baseball was possibly played that cold, would you go watch?
Again, man, it depends on the wardrobe. Like if they, if they had some good hats or something, mittens or something like that.
Oh, sure.
Maybe I'd be down. That sounds a little crazy. Probably not.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I am like, I'm not a faker with baseball though. Like and college wrestling.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that. So those are the two sports that I follow, day
You
in,
could
day
say
out.
anything about college wrestling right now as fact, and I just have to go, oh, yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well,
They're amazing. Oh, he's so good.
Well, the U has always been pretty good.
Oh, for sure.
And I wrestled in college. I wrestled at the U one time. So I guess that's part of my Minnesota history too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I wrestled against Minnesota early 90s.
Who won?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, like the guy that I wrestled reached out to me and said he's coming to the show this weekend.
Get out of here.
Yeah, this guy reached out. He was like, "Hey, I wrestled you," and he's like, "I wrestled you in Minnesota or something." I'm like, "I only wrestled in that, one time, and it was in college against University of Minnesota." And I remembered the match. I was like, "You were like a freshman, and I was a senior, right?" He's like, "Yeah, that was me." So,
Get out of here.
yeah, it's weird what you remember, but yeah. So
you're leaving him free tickets is what he was asking for, correct?
Nah, man, he didn't ask.
That's good.
And I don't know him. I don't know him that well. So
Yeah, no, he pays double since you beat
there's
him.
there's plenty of like occasions where people ask for free tickets, and I usually, if I know him well, it's like yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, sure.
I like to help people out, but it's kind of, especially if they need it or whatever. But some of it's kind of silly where it's just like, I sort of go by like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, don't give me anything free. Like when I go to the mechanic or any of those places or the chiropractor or my buddy owns a restaurant, like I don't want anything free.
Sure.
Like I want to pay, but when I come to town, like, bring everybody out. Come to the come to the show.
That's a fair trade.
Yeah, I feel like it's
not
I'll
greedy.
pay full price for all the stuff. But how about when I come?
Rally the troops.
Yeah, get everybody out and pay. Don't ask me for a ticket.
Yeah,
How
I don't
about
think
that?
that's greedy at all. I think that's very fair.
Yeah, I think so. Man.
I like that. Did you?
I think these people like, especially when I do shows in St. Louis, which it's a pretty good market for me. I've been going there for years.
Sure.
And, but I always kind of do this. It's kind of a dirtbag thing, but I always like do this cursory check of like, who did I give a lot of money to this year? And I just send them a little postcard with, like, hey, I'll be at the comedy club.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's probably they know why I'm doing it.
Yeah. That's some good marketing.
Yeah, I guess
If it
maybe.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that I wrote a check to this year is gonna get. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You just it's a lot of paperwork. That's all.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but-
That's mostly what comedy is. It's 90% paperwork. I've always said it's the best comedians really good with the paperwork.
They don't
Yeah.
tell you that when you're starting.
Yeah.
No, you have to figure that out. Figure that out the hard way.
Yeah.
So since the last time I did this podcast a week ago, well, first of all, Renan Hirschberg was on the podcast, and then between now and then, he's already been on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, he did Fallon last night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we call that the No Laugh Track bump.
Is that right, man?
Yeah.
So nothing was in the works until he did this podcast That is,
Yeah,
in my experience with late night, that is very rare. They usually are booking way out on that. But hey, I'll buy it.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, not anymore. It's changed.
Okay.
That's changed.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
I mean, maybe he mentioned it to me, and I asked him if we could announce it, and he said no because he wasn't positive it was going to happen because he knew it was probably going to happen.
I got it.
But maybe not.
Either way, man,
Yeah.
there's really no telling. It's part of the mystery of show business.
That's right. And if I recommend everybody watch that set. It was fantastic. I watched it.
I saw a clip of it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was very good. But so that happened between last week and today, and also Bob Saget passed away.
Yeah.
Do you? It seems like everybody. He had a million best friends. He had a relationship with so many comedians.
Yeah.
Are you the exception to that? Do you have a Bob Saget connection?
Yeah, we had a real problem with each other, man. It was a very adversarial relationship, and
I knew I shouldn't have asked.
Yeah. I'm not saying no. I never met him.
Never met him.
But had heard from people that I like and trust that he was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was really good to a friend of mine. You know, a buddy of mine opened for him when he was a little younger, and and my buddy's mom was in the audience, and Bob was like, "Oh, your mom's here," and Bob went and talked to his mom. He was like, "Your son's really great,and all that kind of stuff."
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think I met him briefly once when I was doing the radio job. He came in once. He was in town doing a show. He played that correctly. He was nice to everybody, like you should be.
Yeah, man.
When you come in and do media.
Yeah, I was reading all this stuff about him, about how how great of a guy he was, and I was like, man, I need to be a better person. I really did. I was like,
Thanks, Bob. You're making us all feel like crap.
No, I mean, I need to pick it up.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah,
I mean, a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, don't we all? And of course, this is January, so what better time to turn over a new leaf, right?
Yeah.
Even though, I'll still never understand that whole New Year's resolution when it's like people could do daily. I do Monday resolutions.
Do you?
No, but I'm just saying, like, what's
right,
there's no. Please, I can't even do a yearly one.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
My attention span and laziness don't match up with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of maybe tried to get it together in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I'm sort of.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about another thing that I saw about you and watched is your special that's on YouTube.
Which one?
I wrote down the title because I know there are several. The Where the Field Corn Grows.
Oh, thanks,
is
man.
the one that I watched.
The most recent thing.
I know you have a dry bar that's available on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Am I missing one?
No, I don't think so. I think I've done a couple other things, but I think those are the ones that are on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
So normally when someone has done a dry bar comedy special, I love going into the app and pulling up the things that you can have taken out of the set. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I don't think
they don't do it anymore though. They
really?
switched their app, and you can't look at the filters.
Yeah, I think I made it through all the filters. Like my
zero.
My act's pretty clean. Yeah. Normally my act's pretty clean.
No, I understand that, but like even some will be like if someone says like God, it'll be like you can do a filter on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I think I made it through. There might have been one. I don't know. But there's a channel on Sirius called Laugh USA that I get played a lot on.
Yeah.
And
the one I can listen to with my kids.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea. And the guy, there's a guy that runs a lot of stuff over at Sirius named Jack Vaughn. He's a great guy and used to run Comedy Central Records. And he did like my first album years ago. And this goes back, I don't know, probably 6 years ago. I was telling him he had just moved over to Sirius, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, and I'd said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about, I got some material that's starting to, be ready to maybe be an album." And he sort of cut me off. He's like, "Hey, man, I got to tell you, like, I'm going to try to revamp this Laugh USA thing." And he's like, "You're way too clean. You're way too close to being, like, clean to not just be clean."
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was really good advice, because I was always relatively clean, but I was profane, here and there. And, especially when I was younger. And, I was always probably like 4 or 5 curse words in an hour, short of it. And he was just like, just go all the way.
Okay.
And he sort of showed me the guidelines for the Laugh USA stuff. And it's fairly, it's designed so you can, do what you do.
Yeah.
Is have it on when your kids are in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I don't write to those standards, but I do have them in the back of my mind. So it's not that hard to try to just. I don't really have to clean it up a whole lot anymore. So when I did the dry bar, I was like, okay, I know what 2 or 3 jokes that probably aren't going to fit with this thing.
Sure.
So, yeah.
What have you found? I listened to you on Bert Kreischer's podcast.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
man.
a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And you talked about recording the field corn special.
Yeah.
And you said you did some research for that?
I did, man.
Talk to farmers?
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
did, which is, yeah, I know. It's the first time I think I've used my journalism degree in ever.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was a journalism major for 1 year. So,
were you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks.
The thing happened, and forgive the pun, it sort of happened organically. But I really was just doing a show, and there were some farmers in the crowd, and I started asking them questions, and I said something like, "What do you farm?" And the guy was like, "Beans," and I was like, honestly, I go, "You mean like green beans?" And they all started laughing. Hey, thanks, we go green beans. It was soybeans, which and the thing that I said to them, I was like, by the way, green beans. That's not a ridiculous answer. It's a real food. I didn't say jelly beans, or So that was just like, I listened to sets and I was listening. I'm like, man, maybe that's a joke, maybe that's something I would do on stage, and. That Sunday, I went home to St. Louis, and my buddy Joe List, a really funny comic, and his wife,
Joe List.
Sarah Talamash, who I've known forever, they were working at the club in St. Louis at the Funny Bone, so I went to see him, and Joe's like, do a set. So I did a set, and I just did that stupid bean thing, and Joe was like, hey, man, the bean thing, you gotta do, that's great. Like, and Joe's a guy who I respect a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He's
great.
He's got a good eye.
Uh-huh.
And I started writing more about it, and then Jack at Sirius actually heard some of it and was like, you got to go all the way farm, and I was like, really? And I was like,
You got to go all the way farm.
I got to go all the way farm. Like, I don't know enough to know what I don't know. So I was like, I figure if I just go out and talk to these people, I'll just realize all this stuff that I don't know.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be some comments. So I did. I went to. It wasn't like I was out for a year, but I did.
You didn't.
I didn't
start a farming life.
Yeah,
for a year?
I didn't go.
Marry a woman
undercover. But I. I
undercover boss.
Yeah, I did like maybe 3 or 4 visits. I think like 4 visits where I went and talked to the farmer and just had him show me around and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah. There were some of it. Most. It's like anything else. It's like. A couple of them I shouldn't have told them why I was coming because they were just kind of, just trying to goof it up a little bit. I'm like,
of course.
No, man, just be,
Of course.
But there were some good guys. One of the farms I went to was this one guy. He was a relative of a comedian buddy of mine who went out there, and he like was showing me the machinery. These. Like combines, they're like $500,000 or something.
Yeah.
So he's showing me, he's explaining to me, it's in this barn, and there's this like old bicycle hanging on the wall, and then he's this combine, and he's starting explaining to me, and it's like he's doing that thing like, hey, we're both guys, you have the same foundation and interest in mechanics that I do, and I didn't want to break his heart. Like I didn't want to be like, hey man, it's just like. I could not tell you how that bicycle on the wall works, let alone the $500,000
oh my God,
combine.
No.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
that guy was Shep. He was a cool dude. And
I took my daughter earlier this week to do. One of my daughters is gonna start her freshman year of high school this coming fall. So they had this little like get to know, get more comfortable with your freshman year incoming thing, and she had to pick classes and electives. I nudged her, and she signed up for a class, Small Engines.
Oh, wow.
And not kidding, I was like, if you take this class, first of all, if I could go back in time, that's something I would sign up for, so I could have that knowledge.
Yeah.
But now, if you learn this stuff, could teach Dad.
Yeah. You don't know any of it either.
Not
Yeah.
not anything more. No, I mean YouTube videos would be my.
What are the small? I'm thinking lawnmower,
Yeah,
push mower. What other small engines are there?
A vacuum cleaner, I
Yeah.
suppose. Maybe.
I don't know if that's really an engine, man.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. I don't. Rotary phone? No.
Yeah, I get a snowblower up here.
Yeah, and snowblower.
Yeah.
I have one and can't get it started, so that would be
Okay.
an excellent thing. But yeah, I was like, yes, yeah, please learn that stuff.
Yeah,
your dad doesn't.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Like your conversations with the farmers. Please help me.
Yeah.
Please help me learn.
Yeah, they were really cool, man. They were
So who do you get better feedback from? The dry bar comedy fans that like their comedy clean, or farmers that like their comedy about farming?
Well, both were pretty cool. I mean, I don't even.
I
know.
read some of the dry bar comments, and man, they love you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: the farm thing originally was on Amazon, so that's where it lived for the first year.
Amazon
So
Prime,
that's
yeah.
where all the Amazon Prime. That's where all the comments and all that stuff, and it was pretty positive. I think the dry bar, they just have figured out the algorithm better than anybody with
Right.
video, and I sort of fit in that thing. So there's just a lot more eyeballs have probably been on that special than the Amazon thing. And honestly, the dry bar, I didn't really know what it was, it was an album that I had already done, and a buddy of mine, Keith Stubbs, runs that thing, and he was like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, nobody else, we're not scheduled to do a special with anybody else with this material that was just on a CD.
Yeah.
And whenever people Google me, it's always some guy that had a cell phone camera in Indiana. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's shot horrible. So I was like, at least that's why I did it. I was like, if somebody Googles me, this will come up probably because these guys are good at figuring out.
Oh my
But
God.
I didn't realize how big a lot of people watch it. So yeah, they're both positive things. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of, I think the farmers, they were maybe felt a little disenfranchised over the years. There hasn't been a lot of farm comedy. A guy named Drew Hastings did a special on Comedy Central years ago that was really, really good. But Drew's an actual, he's the last guy in the world you would expect to be a farmer, but he owns a farm in the middle of Indiana.
In addition to being a politician at some point.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. He's a mayor of a small town. Yeah.
Wild.
Embattled politician. They were trying to kick him out.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Every now and each week before the podcast, one of the things I do to prep is I'll just simply search the term stand-up comedy on Google.
Yeah.
And that was one of the news stories, several years ago. It was
Right.
Drew Hastings, a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It sounded like, something silly about it. A couple of neighbors were mad about his garbage cans or
Sure.
something. So
Speaking of that, it was garbage day at my house. Like I had to put it out last night, so picked up this morning. I go to get it today, and the garbage can, it was full of bags. I also had from a Christmas gift. There was a stack of styrofoam I needed to get rid of, and then an old Babygate that we're not using anymore.
Yeah.
So at the very top of the garbage, it was the bags to the top, the lid is open, and then I had stacked the styrofoam and this Babygate. I go out this morning, and the freaking Babygate is sitting on top of the garbage can, and everything else is gone. They wouldn't take it.
Oh, they wouldn't take the Babygate?
They picked it up, moved it, and put it back.
Really? Yeah. There's some.
What?
Do you think that is specific to the materials?
I have no idea.
Or is it actually there's just a clause like we don't take Babygates?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to get to the bottom of this.
Or maybe it was somebody who's like, hey, you need this still. Like your kid needs to be safer.
I can't figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's.
I need to get to the bottom of this by next week. I'm gonna have to illegally dump this somewhere. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I can't just hold on to this. It's got to go. They're not gonna take it.
Babygate is that thing where as soon as you say it, your mind goes to something big happened, something bad and big happened with a baby.
You don't want to know.
Babygate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What a stupid thing.
A lot of lies were told in Babygate.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly what's true.
But all I can tell you is that baby was lying.
A lot of finger pointing.
Yeah. What a stupid thing about our culture that I mean that anything now is gate just because of the Watergate Hotel.
Oh,
right?
I'm not a
anything is
fan of
gate.
that at all.
Yeah.
I agree. It's Football Gate, Deflate Gate.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Deflate Gate was
So when I was watching your special on YouTube, I was in a room that did not have my Alexa machine.
Okay.
But in that special, you say, Alexa, turn the lights on. Alexa, turn the lights off.
Got a lot of comments about that. Yeah.
Because it doesn't have that thing that so basically you were making people's lights go on when they watch.
Yeah, or something. I was doing something like that. I don't have Alexa, and that was part of the joke.
Right.
But yeah, I got a lot of people said, hey, you're messing with my my house. Yeah.
What do you say? Alexa lights on, Alexa lights off, and then something with music too, I think, right?
Did I? I don't remember. It's weird. You pull out, at least for me, there's like 4 or 5 bits out of that special that if I need them, like right now I'm doing an hour.
Mm-hmm.
New hour. I'm close to a new hour. But, given whatever goes on with the crowd, you're like, okay, some of this stuff's not quite ready for this, crowd. It's not polished enough. Or the guy in front of me this week's pretty strong, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to shift. He's also really good, man.
Yeah.
But he's not a G-rated comic, and I'm like, okay, some of this is gonna sound a little lame. I learned that about 10 minutes in last night. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to probably pull out a few of the hits, and so you go back. I have 5 bits from that special that I know.
Yeah.
If I had to do, something where hey, you got to do the farm special again, or you got to use that material for, in 2 days I could remember it all, but I don't remember. I remember sort of what you're talking about, but I couldn't do those bits right now, except for there's 5 that I know.
Gotcha.
That I know and I will go to if I need to, and that's the same from the dry bar. There's like a few, and then there's some stuff before that. I'm like, it's just like the hits or whatever. Like these ones always work. It's usually the ones that always work and are a little shorter, because it's like, all right, I what you really want to do is the new material. And you're like, I'm doing this, and you're like, all right, I need to probably, like in a corporate gig, that's a good way to find out if your new hour is as good as you think it is. Like, because in a corporate gig, they're a little trickier. I do a number of them, and they're a little harder. And those usually are sort of a play the hits type of gig.
Right.
You're doing. It's like I just did an hour, and that was 3 hours of. That was the best of 3 or 4 hours of material.
Right.
So if
best
you can,
of the best.
Yeah, and if you can get you're doing a corporate gig, I did one. I don't know, a month ago, and I was like, hey, man, I used to use 20 minutes that were new. That's actually pretty good. You should be like, well, why aren't you using the whole hour? It's never going to happen. It's like you do best of. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but there's it's probably the ones that got the biggest laughs or the easiest to just get to. But there's, I can tell you, there's probably 5 bits off of each hour that I'm like, okay, I remember the rest of it. If I need to go get it, I'll get it. But I don't know what I said in some of it.
Who is working? Who's the feature? Ahmed. Oh, okay.
No, it's not Ahmed.
Oh,
it's Mike.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
it was Ahmed last week.
Yeah. Funny dude, man. Funny dude.
Mike. Mike
I met
Lester.
Ahmed last night. Cool guy. Yeah,
he's great.
Mike's a funny guy. He was killing.
He's great.
But it's very animated, and it's he's saying fuck a lot, and which is fine. I didn't like it when I was younger. The guy telling me, I'm never gonna say you can't, but I got on stage and I was like, okay, some of this stuff is gonna sound a little bit just a little lame with that energy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to about 5 minutes in, I'm like, this is not going to be the dry run of the new hour that I thought it was going to be. This guy's pretty strong, and we're very different acts, and he's good. I hope it doesn't come off. He's very, very good.
Oh no, it doesn't come off.
He's killing. Yeah,
right.
but I was like, I'm gonna have to shift gears this week a little bit, which is it's good for you. You get a little you get to a certain point, and you get a little lazy. You're just like, I just go up there, and it's gonna work no matter what. And I was like, oh no, these people are at a very different place right now. And about 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, I haven't felt this in a while. Now when I was living in New York, you feel it every night. because you're just following heat.
Yeah.
And you're following somebody's, best 10 minutes in New York.
Oh,
But,
that's very cool to hear you say that. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about that real briefly here. You said you've been living in St. Louis for what, 5-6 years, but you've been on the each coast. You spent time on each.
Yeah, I was in LA for 5 years, in New York for 4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think you'll ever do that again?
I doubt it. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think I would do it when I did it. I guess like when I went to New York, I was like, I think I'm getting a little bit lazy, and I need to be challenged,
Okay.
And I need a new challenge, and I'll just go for a year and just get, sharpen up a little bit. And I liked it. And I really liked the comics up there.
Yeah.
And I felt like it sort of sharpened my act up a little bit. And I stayed for 4.
Okay.
But, yeah, I was never like I'm going to live here forever. And LA was, I went maybe a little earlier. Still, I liked it out there. I met a lot of cool people and did a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But when I left LA and moved back to St. Louis that first time, that was when I felt like I started really getting a lot better.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And I know they were, I don't even know if they've ever been on in the Twin Cities, but I know you have a huge following from the Bob and Tom radio show.
Oh, yeah, those guys have been really good to me, man.
Right.
They yeah.
Kostaki, Economopoulos.
Sure,
huge,
man.
Huge friend of the podcast.
Yeah,
I know
man,
he's
been-
big with them, so I know all about them through him.
Yeah. They've been great to me. They're friends. They're I'm not sure I'd have a career without them. That was sort of the thing that boosted me up to starting to be a headliner.
Yeah.
And it's
That's awesome.
It's really cool. Yeah, they've been really, really good to me and a lot of other comics.
Do you actually? There's one final thing I'm going to ask you about. I saw a Crackers Comedy Club is closing in Indianapolis. Is that a
Yeah,
place?
I did
Do you have
see
a
that,
story? Any connection to that
I
place?
haven't been there in a long time, but yeah. I had a lot of fun shows there back.
What
in the day.
was the thing? What was anything stand out that was special about that place, or
or
not special?
no? It was cool.
What are people going to miss or not miss? I guess.
The owner's a friend of mine named Ruth Ann, and her dad Bill would drive you to radio, and he was a character, man. Good guy, and he'd drive you to radio, and he'd tell you all kinds of stories and stuff like that. He was an older guy.
Oh, sure, that's
really nice guy. And I remember one time, I've done Bob and Tom so many times, and I usually go out to eat with those guys afterwards or something. So I had told Ruth Ann, I was like, "Hey, your dad doesn't need to pick me up. I'll drive myself to the studio because I'm probably, I'm probably gonna just go to eat with him afterwards or whatever." So I'm getting up to drive myself, and I see Bill parked outside waiting for me. I'm like, I go, "Hey, Bill, man, you don't need to take me." I told Ruth Ann, I'm taking myself. And he was like, "Okay, all right." And you could just see that, dad thing. And I'm like, "Oh, she's going to get an earful from her dad." She is going to get, I know that look in my dad's eyes. You're like, why didn't you tell me? I'm just like, oh, she is going to get yelled at, man. You are in trouble. Yeah. That was, that's when I had some fun shows there.
That's awesome. God,
Yeah.
I had one of those moments in my own life yesterday.
Oh,
Where
really?
I was going to pick up my daughters after school. At least I thought I was. And then the one was like, "Well, I mean, you're not going to get me. I stayed home from school today." Like, you had all day to tell me that.
Right.
You had all day to tell me that. It would have changed. I've been planning on what we're going to do, food, blah, blah. Would have been nice to know that
Sorry, man.
8 hours ago.
Yeah. I guess that's,
Anyway,
yeah.
haven't heard back. She might have COVID. We haven't heard.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting tested. I bet you I've taken, I don't know, I've gone in for maybe 100 tests.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just go I've been working the road pretty, that was that first 3 months. But since then, I've been working the road pretty steadily. And I try to go in maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every week. With the Omicron, I try to get in every week.
Sure.
But now they have urgent care places in St. Louis, and you go in and that your insurance pays for it.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good test or whatever. And now those places are really hard to get in. So there's a place in St. Louis. They don't take insurance. You got to pay them. but you can get it. You can just walk in and get it, even during the Omicron surge. And I went in. It's
now it's $500 a test.
No, it's $79, $99 if you want a negative test, but.
My mom wanted us to. She was very concerned, and she wanted us to take them before we came over for Christmas.
Yeah.
So she brought some over. My wife and I did them, and when my wife pulled that the swab out of her nose, a booger flew out onto the table.
That means you definitely have COVID. Yeah. I've seen that, and the CDC says that's like long haul COVID, I think.
Yeah.
A bat flew out of your.
That's right. Greg, this has been great. People have got to come see you this weekend at Acme now since you're in town.
I hope so, man. I got to ask you. I mean, I don't understand the purpose of this table in front of me. I mean.
It's for my protection.
Okay. All right. Good.
It's the key, in case I say something wrong.
I mean, I haven't used it. I thought I don't know, some food was going to be brought out, or we were going to arm wrestle, or I don't know. I thought there was something that was. I mean, it's here. You know? You got your notes. I thought maybe I'd have some notes or something, but.
You were supposed to bring your notes.
Yeah,
that's your fault.
I know. I'm unprofessional.
Yeah,
I'm unprofessional.
That's your fault. Well, next time, bring your notes.
I feel like we should re-record without the table. I could bring a whole new energy to this podcast.
Are you saying you were held back?
Yeah, I was, man. The table. There doesn't need to be this in between me and you.
You're right. You know what? Yep. We'll bring the. We used to do them on the couch, but like separately, we'd take them from the backstage, put them on the stage here.
Oh yeah.
Look, one couch, you, me, next to each other.
Okay.
Yep. One mic.
Oh boy, we could. Yeah, that's gonna be a show right there. Yeah.
Send that to the CDC.
You think this was mediocre?
Perfect. Thank you, Greg.
You bet, man.